yesterday. Reese says Celtic played in second gear the whole afternoon, nowhere near our usual, and they still couldn't win. Joseph also saying we played about 30%, we'll beat them at Ibrox. I mean, do you go along with that?
Yeah, I do a little bit. But I think that was because Rangers imposed what they wanted to do upon Celtic, and they stopped Celtic playing through the middle of the pitch. You know, we all know that Cal McGregor's the cog, and they get around about him. They suffocated Celtic in that area of the pitch. Now that, you've got to say, is good tactics, good strategy from a manager who was really under a bit of pressure. But I agree, I actually, and this is why, you know, a few weeks ago, I think Celtic were at peak Celtic when they annihilated Aberdeen in the semi-final. A few days after that, they took Leipzig apart in the Champions League. I thought Celtic were operating at a different level at that point.
Yeah.
I think they've come down. I think there's been a drop-off. I don't know if it's fatigue.
That's what I was going to say. Is it fatigue? You know, it's a long, hard season.
If it's fatigue, then, you know, you would like to think that Brendan Rodgers would be on top of that. Would you necessarily name the same starting 11 as you did on Tuesday night in the Champions League if you feel that fatigue was a factor? I don't know. But Celtic aren't just as impressive as they were at that point when they were just obliterating people. And so for that reason, plus the fact that Rangers have come in the other direction, I went into today's game thinking, I think we'll get a real contest here. But it was an even better contest than I expected.
Scott McIntyre, watching live on Facebook, says it's the worst we've played all season and still won. That's the winner's mentality.
There is a big element of that about Celtic. Celtic just do not know when to down tools. They're just not going to do it. They have a captain in Callum McGregor, even though he wasn't as influential as he would have liked to be. He inspires those around him. He has this mindset that he just will not settle for second best. He will not settle for second prizes. He has to win, and he drives that dressing room. And they all buy into that mindset.
He's never lost a cup final.
It's astonishing.
Absolutely incredible.
It's astonishing. So, you know, in that respect, what happened today is what always happens. Celtic won and they went away with a trophy. But I just think there's more to what we watched, the whole narrative, the fabric of the 90 minutes there. I do think Rangers are improving, and game by game, whereas Celtic, I think, have levelled off a little bit since I think those games we're talking about was kind of start of November.
Yep.
Leipzig was bonfire night, wasn't it?
It was, yeah.
So I think Celtic have dropped a little bit over that last month, and over the last 2-3 weeks, Rangers look like different Rangers. So,
but will that not hurt Rangers more?
I'm sure it will.
Played fantastic. Celtic were.
I'm sure it will.
And Celtic still won.
I'm sure it will. And the same things will get flung at James Tavernier as well. You know, the captain that you know, close but no cigar. This is something that Rangers are going to have to try and rid themselves of, this image.
And on Tavernier, big call to play him as well.
Massive call to play him.
Yep.
And by the way, I don't think, well, certainly from all the discussions and all the shows that we've been, was there anybody out there that said stick with Tavernier? I didn't see it. If there was, I know that I didn't. I said that
I agree.
Sterling should have been inserted into that team weeks in advance to get a run of games to play that position, because what you can't afford to do is let Maeda have a run at Tavernier again, because everybody knows what happens. And I think I said it early, redemption derby. There's an element of that for James Tavernier, because he looked Maeda in the eye today and he actually gave him a real game. He didn't give him an inch. Maeda gets his goal, but it came about because his Balogun should have done better there. It wasn't a Tavernier mistake. And actually, I think he stuck to him, and he stuck to his task.
He was determined to do.
And it was a real... listen, do you know what? What a great battle it was to watch between the pair of them. The pair of them emptied their tanks. And of course, Maeda's the guy... You just know at the end of the day he's going to have the energy. He steps up, takes the last minute, or takes the last penalty kick, and Celtic disappear, as I said, off with another trophy. But in terms of the individual battles and some of the performances across the pitch, the Tavernier Maeda one was really interesting. And what I have to say is, having one said that I would have probably been looking to get Sterling into that position, because Tavernier just looks like his head is fried at the thought of coming up against Maeda. Enormous credit to James Tavernier then for standing up to that and coming through it, even though he ended up with another second prize. And some credit to Clement, because I wouldn't have stuck with Tavernier for that.
No, aye.
But Tavernier did fine.
James, who's watching live on YouTube, says Maeda's goal was brilliant, and I want to touch on that because although it was on Balogun, it wasn't on Tavernier. That was unbelievable, that goal.
Yeah, I don't think I'm not sure how cleanly he finishes.
Really? I need to see it again. But
I think it's his first touch. He takes it off Balogun's toe. He then has an absolutely sensational second touch, just to set the ball for himself.
Yep.
And when he hits it, I'm not sure that he really makes the cleanest of contacts, but it's right through Butland and impossible one for the keeper to save.
I'd need to see it again, but at the time I thought it was.
By the way, here's
class.
an